everyone, and welcome back to the Female Magic podcast, a safe space for women to speak about their hardships, troubles, glow-ups, and everything in between. Today I have the lovely guest, Fauziya, who is one half of the Rooted Zine. Said that so weird then, guys, sorry. Yeah, she's one half of Rooted Zine, which is based in Liverpool, and it is a zine. They amplify the creativity of people of colour in the northwest of England. So yeah. What is your cultural background?
Dominican, Somali, and white British. That's
wow. I love that mix. New mix to me. What was life like growing up in Liverpool?
Oh, in Liverpool. Well, when I moved from London, I went from kind of like a Roman Catholic household to a Muslim household because my family here is more Muslim. So culturally, it was different, and I was brought up differently. In terms of Liverpool as a whole, I had a complete shock, like coming here in 2007, because I was like, oh my gosh, there's like literally no people that look like me, like literally everyone's white. When that's not actually the case, but it was a bit of a shock in that way. But generally, it's been okay. Of course, there's been racist incidents, but it's been okay. I like the friendliness of Liverpool.
Do you know, I was actually going to ask this later on, but now you've just said that. Isn't Liverpool, or was Liverpool not once like celebrated as like the cultural capital?
Yeah, in 2008. Yeah. I know. And you know,
Weird.
I haven't done that much research into, because I know I was like young then, so it was just like a big celebration.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I think it was something to do with the architecture of Liverpool that was culturally diverse as well, which is also incorrect because it's all colonialist.
Right, because and this is kind of why you yourself and the partner created Rooted Zine. So do you want to give us a little background information about what Rooted is?
Yeah, so Rooted Zine started in our last year of university. We noticed the academic staff and also our peers in our fine arts degree course weren't of colour, and we were kind of sick of not being represented in galleries and everywhere else. So we wanted to make some sort of some sort of zine or collaborative project to support people of colour that when we weren't supported. So we wanted to do it like for them and for us as well. You know the song "For Us" by Us.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just a magazine basically, but it's also a social platform. We like to give advice, and we like to promote people and make sure people are paid for the work they do.
And what's the scene for people of colour in Liverpool now, in your opinion?
What is a zine for people of colour?
The scene, like,
the scene.
Would you say it's poppy, it's good, there's a good community there, or is it all scattered?
You know what, like Liverpool's quite segregated in general. Like I don't go to enough Liverpool because I've been told it's racist, and I have experienced racism there as well.
Really?
Yeah, so I think generally I think the PoC art scene is popping within L8 and L7. It's not, from my opinion, it's not as gentrified as it is in, there's a thing called like the Baltic Market and the Baltic Triangle. All of that's very gentrified and very white within the arts, but you know, I think those areas in Liverpool are much better. The scene at the moment, it's good. I feel like it's very supportive. There's a thing called Granby Market, which I think has stopped since the pandemic, but Granby Market's always been a place for PoC to showcase their work as well in a safe space.
That's nice. And how has the reaction been to Rooted so far?
So at the start we had some resistance. People were like, is this not like racist towards white people? Like imagine if I did it and I didn't include people of color and all of those different scenarios that they were pointing out. But from then we just ignored it, because you have to think about if someone's opinionating on something you do they actually have a valid opinion? Are they a person of color in terms of, and they weren't, so we didn't take the opinion on. But so far the reaction's been great. I feel like people have needed a safe space. We're just one of many that are out there as well.
So would you say there was things like this before Rooted Zine, or was Rooted Zine something maybe just for the new generation coming up? It's crazy to think that it's still, that Liverpool's even like that. And ironically, I've only been to Liverpool for the OYE festivals. But yeah.
In terms of like if there's been organisations before us, I'm not necessarily, there's been like Kumbara Mani, which is based in LA, which is really good for supporting ethnic families within that area. There's been loads of bookshops, like my uncle had a bookshop in the 80s. There's been loads of organisation like Gunan Adamu on BBC Radio as well. She's been, you know, repping the scene on Sunday evenings. I think it's just, I know what you mean. I think it's like a new generational thing. Like zines have been around for, you know, decades, but they've really taken off in the last 10 years.
Yeah, recently.
Yeah.
For sure. Do you ever have like a kind of complex being mixed race and kind of catering for your side that are ethnic or of the ethnic minority?
Yes, in terms of like me personally, yes, because I do feel like, who do I belong to? Do I belong to my Somali side, my Dominican side? And of course I can't fully belong to both in some way. But in terms of Rooted, it's, you know, me and Amber, we're both mixed race and we're both light skinned, so we have like privilege in that way. And then so representing everybody that is not mixed race, we have to really make sure that we try and do it as best as we can. Yeah.
And do you ever feel like you put too much pressure on yourself because of this, because it is only you two doing it, and you're not just doing it for mixed race people, you are doing it for people of colour on a whole, and that is massive. How do you feel about that?
It's terrifying, to be honest. It's been terrifying for since we started it, but it's a good fear. Do you know what I mean? It's a fear that that should be in our hearts, that we should be, you know, continually trying to get things moving, trying to get things like set in motion. So I don't know, it's terrifying, but it's also warming when you get to meet people and share artwork and experiences.
Yeah, I love that. Where do you see it going in the next 5 to 10 years?
Oh my gosh, it's so scary to think about it with such longevity, isn't it?
It is.
Definitely, like, we'd love to have regular funding, but the type of funding where we don't have to like meet goals and satisfy people, if that makes sense. Like, not answering to anyone, because that's what makes the zine special as well, as like it's independent. But we'd love to have a gallery for just people of colour, a permanent gallery space, which I don't know, I think that would be great. Hopefully more community outreach within schools as well, inspiring younger people to get into the arts and not see it as intimidating.
So let's talk about the structure of some art organisations, because I found this really interesting. Not surprising, because I feel like this year has shown so many things that are like for Black people but run by white people. But can you give us a little bit more insight into the structures within the arts, and if you know of any, if you want to call them out, I don't know, but yeah, just give us a little insight on that.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so we did an art gallery tour in an art gallery in Liverpool, and they described East Asian, South Asian and Egyptian cultures as other. So they were saying like Eurocentric is the norm and everyone else is other, and it was such a small collection as well. So that was in the art gallery. Another art gallery hired us for basically Black History Month. It didn't pay us for 5 days. But what I've noticed is that the heads of all of these institutions, are usually white. They're usually 6-figure salaries, but on every level except for the hospitality and the cleaning level, in that way, all of them are white, administrative. But But then when you get to like the lower paid jobs, that's when people of color start appearing, and I think that's incredibly suspicious. And there is a statistic that there's only 11% of the whole population, the whole creative labor population are of color, which is terrible, because we know that in the whole of the UK, there's loads of people of color who are creative that would get into those labor industries. So it's systemic, institutionalized racism. So we need to break and dismantle.
Damn, sis, this is deep for a Sunday morning.
I'm so sorry.
No, don't be sorry. This is good. This is good. I think more people need to like know about this and hear about it, because like it's easy for us to turn a blind eye just because we see opportunities for Black people and see that things might be moving in the right way. We could be doing so much more for ourselves and for the Black community. It's just for us to be aware and have these conversations and be open to having these conversations, because a lot of us are just like, oh well, we're doing enough, or I'm trying hard enough, or like, well, I'm Black already, so isn't that enough? There's always a potential excuse as to why we shouldn't work harder. So I love that. But what advice would you give to people who don't know where to start, but they do want to make a difference within the arts and the creative industry?
It's such a good point about open conversation as well. I really, in terms of getting into the creative industry, think about why you want to get into it. Like, what drives you to do the work that you do? But what we did is that we went straight to the people who were in the institutions. We kind of like hollered at them, we emailed them, we were saying to them, look, we exist, can you work with us? And they will listen, hopefully, in the majority of time. So definitely network as much as you can. Don't be afraid, and if you don't ask, you won't get. Simple as. So you just have to take a chance, ask people.
And do you know what I find really inspiring? I feel like most people who I speak to are younger than me. So I'm 25 and you're 23, and I feel like a lot of people more towards your age are deciding to do these things, ironically, in uni as well. It's like I don't know, it's mind-blowing sometimes how you already have the pressure of trying to get good grades, but then you've got the pressure of trying to make a difference within the system. Does that ever make you well, you finished uni now, haven't you? But during the time at uni, were you ever worried that the work that you was doing in regards to Rooted could affect your overall grades? Because obviously I'm assuming it's white people who are like graded. Yeah,
absolutely. In terms of the ages as well, I feel like whatever age you are, if you're passionate about something, go for it. In terms of, yes, incredibly worried, and it was definitely the wrong, I say that in quotations, the wrong time to start a zine, because you got your dissertation and you know all of the things, but at the same time it was the right time to start the zine, because you know we've been able to carry it on since then. Yes, and especially because they are marked by white people who don't necessarily get the struggles that you're trying to convey through your artwork. So it was pretty hard, but it was worth it.
Wow, it's very, very inspirational. Would you advise other people to start at that time? Like, do you regret it at all, or do you think, looking back now, it was the perfect time to do it for yourselves?
Well, at that time, I had an undiagnosed mental health condition, so I don't know if that's in context as well. I feel like start at any time that you feel like you have the most energy for it, and then you can always pick it back up if you feel like, you know, I need to focus on something else. Compartmentalize your time, and don't feel guilty for not keeping it going as well. Like, if you need a break, you need a break, sis, you know.
Amen. I've been saying that to myself all morning, actually, because we don't give ourselves a break. We are in a pandemic, and somehow I feel like so many people are working like a million times harder than they would if they were just like living. And you kind of got to think, why not just appreciate this time and just chill? But the pressure is real for sure, but we always do need to take a break. But how do you personally keep yourself motivated, and when you are having the down days, how do you work through them?
Oh, so motivation, I always have to get out of the space. Like, it's like this space is sofa behind me. I have to get out of it, go to, a cafe or a library, which is even better because you don't have to like pay to be in there. To keep motivated, I just prioritize my tasks. I use things like Miro, Notion, Trello. I use my calendar religiously, even to remind myself, like, make sure you do a wash today, wash machine. Things like that, like, it's basic self-care, but it can be very neglected, isn't it?
Yeah, I agree 100%. Like, I had to start doing that because in my head I'd have like, okay, I'm going to do my washing on Wednesday, but I'd look at my to-do list and I could have like 8 different things, and I get to 5 o'clock, I'm like,
oh, girl,
I can't do washing.
Oh.
It's real though, like, we do underestimate the basics of self-care and putting it on to-do lists. So clearly you are someone who likes to write things down then.
Oh yeah, sorry, my internet just went. Yeah. It was just my internet then. Yes, writing things down is the only way that gets into my head. I don't know if you're the same, like you have to write things down to remember them.
Yeah, I have like the worst memory, and especially with names. I can't remember people's names. I have to write it down at least once and then look over it over and over and over and over again, just to tap it into that brain of mine. So how do you overcome embarrassing moments?
Oh my gosh, you know what? That's like, even just, I don't know if you're like a perfectionist as well, but like I always want to get everything perfect and the best work that I've ever done at that time. When it comes to embarrassing moments, I don't, there's so many that's still in my head. I still get like little flashbacks.
No.
How do I get over them? Yeah, but my mum said to me once, she goes, I was having an argument with someone in school, but this is in relation. And she says, but you're thinking about them, but are they thinking about you? I was like, no, they're not. So that time when I almost drowned in the swimming pool, those people aren't thinking about that memory. It's just me. So don't give it any time.
That's right. So true. It is so true. So where can we find you? And let's rewind. How can people get involved? Because I know Rooted is done quarterly.
Yes.
So does that mean the submissions open quarterly as well?
Yeah, so the best place to find like updates about Rooted would be Instagram, which is at Rooted Zine. And then it would be our website as well, which is rootedzine.co.uk. Yeah, I think that's the best way to get involved. And then we put out the submissions, we let you know what the theme of the issue is, who you need to be to submit. You need to be a person of colour from or based from the Northwest unless stated otherwise. And then we usually have a theme as well that you can join in. And we've just decided, I had a meeting just before this with Amber and we've decided our theme, but I'll have to tell you like another time. I'm so sorry. And no, I can tell you actually, just not in this podcast. Depends when this podcast comes out.
Okay.
It'll be fun. It'll be good.
Okay, so where can people find Rooted?
Yeah, so all of our all of our socials are Rooted Zine, so ROOTEDZINE. Oh my gosh, I misspelled it wrong. And then it's the same for our website. So it's just rootedzine.co.uk. If you type it in on Google, it should come up, hopefully. And if it doesn't, just if you want to email us, it's info@rootedzine.co.uk. Email us with any ideas you've got, and we'll have a chat.
And lastly, what are your plans for the new year, if you've got any? Because obviously, pandemic.
Exactly. Personally, I'm preparing for exhibitions I'm curating Rooted wise, we've got exciting things coming up. We've got a project with another organisation which is all about happiness. We've got live tarot readings which are starting in a week or two, and then we've also got a new. Yes, you definitely join if you're into them. And then we've also got our new zine coming out January 21st. So that would be yeah.
A lot of things to look forward to though in this crazy time, so it's really good that you guys have like carried this on, and I'm so grateful that I've had you on today because I didn't know what to expect. First guest from Liverpool, I'm really happy about that. But yeah, you're really inspiring, and I hope that this helps someone out there. It's definitely helped me today, so thank you so much for being on the Female Magic podcast.
No worries, thanks for having me, thanks for inviting. Really appreciate it.